I'd like to begin by welcoming everyone here today who's joining us. Obviously, it's a big day for our program, first official day of practice. And for us right now, that means so much in terms of having a new staff, new players, new system, new way of doing things. So we're excited to get going. Appreciate everybody taking the time to be here and joining us. I'm excited about our team, excited about the direction we're headed. We certainly have a lot of work to do, and we're nowhere near where we want to be. But today marks the beginning of that journey for us. So with that, I'll take any questions.
With today being the first official day of practice across the country, how does that change what you were doing previously to what you'll be doing going forward?
Well, the biggest thing is the time commitment now that we have and our ability to really spend a lot more time with our guys, whether that's watching film, the length of practices are certainly different. We're able to hone in a lot more than what we previously were doing. In terms of what we're working on, I would say over the last couple of weeks, we've really been more team focused, trying to implement our system on both sides of the ball. So, that remains the same. And I think our guys have a pretty good feel for the pace of practice, how we want to practice, how we want to compete, and what we're trying to do. Now it's getting that to a deeper level, deeper understanding of how we do that once the bullets are flying and we're going up and down and still staying true to our fundamentals and those things. But that's what practice is for. So we're excited to have the amount of time because our group needs it. I mean, we didn't have a summer together, and a lot of teams didn't have that. But when you have a new staff, new players, in a condensed year with no summer, we're really trying to expedite the process, but yet not, lose sight of our fundamentals.
And at practices, what is your vision on the balance between teaching and implementing new systems versus letting the guys get the repetitions and play and become better ball players as well?
Yeah, there's an art to it. I can tell you I haven't mastered that yet. We're doing a lot more teaching while getting up and down. What I mean by that, everything we're doing right now is controlled. So controlled games, controlled transition. And when I see something or our staff sees something, we stop and we correct. We have to do that now because those are the building blocks. Those are the fundamental steps that we can't skip. And I hope within the next couple of weeks we won't be doing that as much, and we can get through. But I don't want to miss steps, and we certainly don't want to miss bad habits. So we're trying to catch things now. We are getting up and down. We are playing, but it's in a controlled environment.
And how has the culture improved from the first day when you got the group together to where we are now?
Well, people talk about culture all the time, and I've said this. The one thing Coach Dunlap and his staff did, they recruited some great kids, and we have great kids in our program. And we have a group of guys who understand how to work, and the previous staff did a tremendous job with that. Obviously, the way we do business will be different than the staff that we just replaced. But we want to grow our culture, and I keep telling our guys, we have the right bricks here. The bricks are the people. The culture is our beliefs, our actions, our mindset, our competitive spirit, and that competitiveness is different, right? We can't confuse working hard with being competitive. And we have a group that works hard. We have to have a group that competes on every rep, and every assignment in the class, on every drill, on every play. And that's the biggest thing that we have to master, that we have to get. And that's been probably the one area that I've been the hardest on, because if we don't compete at the right level and then we're not competent in terms of understanding what it is that we're doing, you have no chance, because we're in a great league, and the teams we're going to play non-conference are good. We're in a league that has some of the best coaches in the country. We really do. And I would tell you in a league that not only has Hall of Fame coaches, but, guys that are on the rise. So we have to be competent and we have to be able to compete at a high level if we want to have any chance of being successful.
And we can talk a bit about them as basketball players, but who's kind of showing that leadership as far as being the most competitive and stepping into that role?
Well, you know what? Everyone's trying to do that. No one's doing it at the level that we need it done yet. But I'm very pleased with our returners. I feel like Eli Scott has, come a long way in a lot of different areas. And he's acting like a mature, professional basketball player. He's got a lot of areas he has to improve on, but I'm very excited about the growth he has shown in our 7 months together. Getting Damian back, getting Matthias back, getting Joe back. Those guys bring so much value to our basketball team, so much leadership. Again, they're nowhere where we want them to be, but they're striving to do that. And I've been very pleased with the young guys we brought in, and all of them have a chance to impact our program. But it's early, and if a guy's doing good now, great. If a guy's not doing good, that's good too. You know what? We have time, and this is it's not going to be a straight hill climb. Some guys are going to have good days, we're going to have bad days, but we got to put more good days together than not.
And you mentioned Eli and Matthias, and with your senior class, how big does having a strong senior core group mean to a basketball program, especially for a first-year coach?
Well, it's huge, especially if they act like it. If we become a player-led program because they're hungry to turn this thing around and become winners, then you can't put a price tag on that. And that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that on this last go-around, those guys have the most urgency within the program. And they're leading. And they are an extension of me in the locker room. And they're setting the standard for who we want to be. So there's nothing more important than having that if it's the right kind of leadership. And I think, we have the kind of kids that are, like I said, high character kids, good kids. And I think, those guys are going to do a good job in that department.
And on the other side of the spectrum, you have a couple freshmen on the roster, Jalen, Mayum, a couple walk-ons. How has this season kind of been an introduction to college basketball for them so far?
Well, I give those guys a lot of credit. Sometimes you get a chance as a freshman to walk into college and use the summer to really adapt, from an academic standpoint, from an athletic standpoint. And those guys didn't have that. They didn't have that period where they could get adjusted. And they've been terrific. I've been very pleased with who they are, how they conduct themselves, how they work. And they fit in terms of the kind of people we want to be around. They're winning people. I just wish we would have had a little more time, obviously, to help them get acclimated and from a development standpoint to help them that way. But they have competed. They're catching up, and they're doing what I'm asking them to do. So I'm very excited about what they're doing.
So in addition to the truncated schedule of workout time during this off season, what are some of the other challenges right now when you're getting into the first week of official practices?
Well, you said it. I think the biggest thing is the condensed schedule. So with that, making sure that our guys are in shape enough to practice and where we can avoid injuries and things of that nature. Usually when you have a condensed schedule and you're trying to expedite things, that's where the injuries and those things come into play. But I think Coach Jordan, our strength coach, has done a great job leading up to this point. But that's been, that's the biggest issue. It's just making sure that we're in the proper place and building up to who we want to be. I think we're doing a pretty good job of that.
And with the allotted hours of practice time and on-court activity increasing now, how does the balance work with what the guys were already doing off the court in those extra hours now that you have an opportunity to work with them more during the week?
Yeah, I mean, I just talked to my team, and we gotta still continue to do more. And my message to them is, um, if you're just working hard on the hours that are scheduled for you and between the lines, then you become below average or average. Everyone does that. That's the price of admission. We got to be a team that studies the game away from the court. We got to be a team that watches film individually, that is investing away. We got to be a team that comes back and is getting our free throws, our extra shots. Those things should continue. That's how you create an expectation. We have to have those kind of habits. So those are things that, from a player standpoint, will happen. But in practice, with where we're at, we've got to spend our time, really getting our system in, our offense and our defense. About 6 weeks left, you're looking at your to-do list. There's so much to get done. And that's why it's so critical that each guy on his own is spending extra time, doing more.
And with 6 weeks going until the first start of the games and the schedule's being worked out still, what is it that you'll see as we've kind of improved in these milestones? What is it that you're looking for?
Yeah, well, I think, like I said, hopefully from now to when we tip off, we understand what it looks like and what it feels like to compete on every possession, on every play of the game. We have to do that. The second piece of it is our competence of what we're doing, what we're running, and how we're executing. Right? We've got to execute our schemes at a high level. That means we're all connected. We're on a string. We're on one accord. Those are the things I'm looking for. And then the last piece of it, we got to be the team that really values and takes care of the ball. And when we're studying our program and we're studying practices, those are the critical ingredients. The other things, will come. And in the other areas, it'll be, we're going to make mistakes. But in what I just talked about, we got to be really sharp on that.
Can you talk a bit about the role of your assistant coaches at practice and what it meant to grab this group of three top assistants in the country?
Yeah, my assistants, their role is to really coach, to help me coach. I'm really not interested on guys just being there and watching me do my thing. They understand my expectations, how we want to conduct ourselves. They understand the system, and I let them teach. I let them coach, and I want them to do that because that's why we brought them here. Those guys have strengths that make up for my weaknesses, and they're a great check and balance for me. So they have a lot to say, and our guys really respect them, and they've got a lot of experience and a lot of success. So it's been great to have those three guys with us, and I'm proud that they represent our program and our university. And they're going to help us really move the needle here.
And then the final question here, how have the guys been bonding and coming together as a group?
Yeah, we've done a lot. Actually, Wednesdays are usually our days off, and we call those culture days. And we spend a lot of time talking about culture. And, one of the biggest things with culture is we have to create and generate trust. The only way to create trust is to spend time. And that's time away. And, not having cliques and knowing each other and being around each other and liking to be around each other. So we spend a lot of time on that, and our guys have done a great job with that. And they've really bought into that. So I think that'll only grow stronger as the year goes, but I've been very pleased with that.
And today you released another edition of the new standard. in closing, do you have any other final words for the fans who are watching and paying attention to the program and what you're trying to do here?
Yeah, I just, like I said, since I got the job, I'm thankful to be here. This is the place I really wanted to be. I believe in LMU. I believe in what's possible here. And, I want you to know that I want to make you proud, but I can't do it by myself. We need everybody uh, rowing. We need everybody on deck. We need everybody pushing. And we can no longer have this wait and see approach. We have a fresh start, and we have a great opportunity. We have an AD that's committed, in Craig Pentons. We have a president who's committed, in Dr. Snyder. And there's not been a better time for Loyola Marymount basketball. And it's time for us all to get together and form the collective group that's needed to advance this program where we all want to go. So I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait to get everybody in the building at some point and see what we got. So thank you again, and I love representing you guys.
Thanks, Coach.